extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago. Stand by the Roll Show intro. Roll Show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and all the listeners that we have around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes, and it is a little overcast day here in Enterprise, Utah, where it's call it the Northern Command or Central Command. That's what we'll do. We'll call this Central Command. It is the 12th of December, 2024. Less than 2 weeks until Christmas time. Things are going to change rapidly after the new year, a week later. We're heading into some amazing times. Amazing things are going to happen in this country. We're going to be doing some things that are just totally mind-blowing. This country is going to have a revival and a new golden age. But we've got to help. And we have to know, and I'll call them who our enemy is, not that our neighbor who's a Democrat is an enemy, but the ideology within the Democrat Party is an enemy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Today's topic is going to be a little bit about the Democrat Party. I'm going to point out a few things, and we're going to have a little information exchange. Well, actually, I'm going to pass it on to you. What you do with it from here is totally up to you. But the one thing I do want to remind everybody, that in 1820, the Democrat Party, or as they call it, the Democratic, there's nothing democratic about that party, was formed. And since its inception, it is basically a party or has an ideology of evil. Or it's a demonic construct, or however you want to say it. That's what the Democrat Party is. Some people say calling it the Democrat Party is an insult. Well, I'm in for that because they are an insult. The whole party is an insult. The ideology, its construct, everything about it is evil, and it's excuse me, and it needs to be mocked and ridiculed so that people start understanding just how bad that party really is for America. Now, having said that, how do you tell something is evil? How is something corrupt? Remember, the Democrat Party was formed to fight for the expansion of slavery and to keep slavery in the nation permanently. Wouldn't you consider that to be evil? Keeping black people that have been ripped out of their homes and sold to people here in America and forced to work for free for food and some shelter for their entire life. Don't you consider that evil? I do. And don't you think promoting and defending and instituting it all throughout the America like the Democrat Party was set up to do would be called evil? I do. If you don't, you have something wrong inside your head. Plain and simple. But anyways, how do we test something? Well, I'm going to take and do it this way. Let's use some biblical principles. If you look at it through the party being formed and what it does through the eyes of biblical principles and a constitutional litmus test, then you can see that there is no redeeming qualities found within the Democrat Party. Just none. What do they promote today that has anything to do and adds value to America? Remember, you have to use biblical principles. Do they support murdering unborn children? Well, yeah. Well, that's one biblical principle that is violated there, killing innocents. How about constitutional? Do they believe in slavery? Yes, they do. They still believe in slavery. They believe that people should have to pay income tax. Income tax, any form, any way, shape, form, any amount is tantamount to slavery. I don't care if it's 0.1% or if it's 90%. Taxing labor is slavery. So, just using those two principles, do you see anything redeeming? Just two things. I brought two things up. Two simple things. And already, you see the party is evil. It's a shame the party wasn't dismantled and forbidden to ever participate again in American politics after the Civil War. Wasn't it that it was a party that instituted a civil war, sedition, treason, whatever you want to call it. They started a civil war so they could keep slavery. They say, well, it's because they wanted to keep their rights in their states and stuff like that. No. They were pushing to get slavery pushed into all of the country at the time. So no, you don't get the pass on that. Sorry, you don't get a pass on that. Oh, it's just like, and the amazing thing about it is, if you really want to look at it, the party is basically run by cowards and bullies who want to force you through the force of government and the threat of coercion by government into going along with their ideology. Do you understand that? Does America, well, let's just take this back very simply. Let's take it back to Obamacare. Was the country clamoring for Obamacare? Was the country saying, we need the government to take over our health care because, the insurance companies are being big meanie pants and the doctors are charging too much and everything's so bad about us? Did you hear anything about that? No. In fact, if you really listen to it, 80% of the country was happy with the health care that they had. 80%. 80% were happy with it. Yet the Democrat Party decided to institute another big government program or oversight program or laws of thousands of pages to tell you what kind of health care you could get. And use government, also known as the IRS, to punish you if you didn't comply. Is this what you voted for? Or is this what they wanted? If you have to coerce or force somebody into something and the American people do not believe in it, that's evil. That's just evil. And yet that's what they do every chance they get. Everything is about making government, which is their God. They don't worship a God of love. They don't worship a Savior who died for them. They don't worship those type of things. The people who are the crazies in that part, in the Democrat Party, they worship government. They think government is the highest and most powerful thing ever, and everyone has to comply to it. So evil and corrupt, I can't even stand it. I get so upset whenever I think about them. But what are you going to do about them? Let's see, who all is involved in their stuff? Oh, I wrote down a couple of them. Oh. And the way I just saw a little note I wrote. In a way that they take and they act as bullies in some of the things, they take over the cultural, they take over, they take and they make sure that they're in charge of, let's say, the media. They're totally in control of the media, the mainstream media, if you want to call it. I call it, the leftist propaganda machine. They take over the institutions of education. Look what our education system is today. Number one in the world just 45 years ago. 45 years ago, we were the number one education system in the world. We're like 26 now. If we're even that high still, I don't know. I haven't seen the numbers in quite some time. But 26. We spend more on education. We spend more in all aspects of it. But we also have a federal government called the Department of Education that takes and tells local governments what they can and can't do. And if they don't do it, they hold federal money back. See it? Coercion. Using government to coerce people into doing things. Disgusting. All of them are disgusting. But how are we going to fix it? And why aren't we doing more? Because, how did they get such control power and all that stuff? Easy. Because us conservatives, constitutional conservatives and that, we were busy working, having families and protecting them, going to church, helping our communities, doing work. All the while the Democrats had all these groups and people put together and were pushing governments and pushing people into doing things that they wanted them to do. Once again, if you have to force people into complying with your ideology, that's evil. And that's all they have to operate on. Oh. I have one more thing we'll talk about on this too. And it's like one more point that it should help you show how the Democrat Party should be condemned and pushed out of America once and for all. Because growing up, I was always told that I would be judged in some ways, not just by who I am, but by the people I associate with. Who do I associate with? The people I associate with and I find a brotherhood with are fellow Christians, hardworking Americans, constitutional conservatives, people who love this country, love the Constitution, revere our founding fathers, and seek for the truth. Those are the people I hang out with. And I don't want to say that I hang out with Republicans, because I am sick to death of the Mitt Romney Republicans, the Mitch McConnell Republicans. I'm sick to death of so many of these rhinos that are just so disgusting. Even worse than Democrats, because they know what they're supposed to be doing, but they rather pretend like they're Democrats. And then go back to their districts and go, well, I'm a really good conservative, and you should keep voting for me. And then they go back and they vote with the Democrats and help them out every chance they get. If we don't clean out our own House, I don't know who's going to. And you people back there in Washington, D.C., you better understand, you better be voting with and voting and helping Donald Trump and his new administration when he gets in there, or else you're going to be looking for new work. The game is over. It's not being played anymore by us conservatives. You either get in line with what we want to take this country back away from you rhino Republican disgusting scumbags and the evil, corrupt, hate America Democrats, or you're going to be gone. It's not a threat. It's what we're going to work on. We're going to make sure that we get this country back, and it's taken back away from the wrong people running it. So, those are the people I hang out. Who hangs out with the Democrat Party? We'll call them the radical left. And who is the radical left? Well, we'll call the radical left, how about Marxists, socialists, communists, Islamists, globalists, and corporatists. Have you noticed that all of these things are found within the Democrat Party, and these people work and they fund the Democrat Party? All of these people, if you really look at them, all these groups, all these people of different things, they hate this country. They do not like this country. The Islamists want to see this country become a nation with Sharia law instead of our Constitution, but they're willing to work with the Marxist, socialist, communist, fascists, and the Democrat Party to help tear down the country so that they think they can come in and take over too. The funny part about it is, if they were successful and this country failed and Democrats and Islamists all took over this nation and were in total, complete control, there would be a civil war between the Islamists and the Democrat Party for power and control over this nation. They are not going to just go away once they take it down. Somebody is going to want to take over completely, because that's what people who are evil do. They want total power and total control. That's why all these Muslim nations love a strong Muslim at the top, or a guiding council of crazy people like the mullahs in Iran at the top. Even though the people don't like what's going on in their country, they don't have any power enough to take and get rid of them. So, these are the people that you find within the Democratic Party. And those are the people that the Democrat Party supports. Remember, the Democrat Party got behind Hamas, the Palestinians, Hezbollah, and condemned Israel for fighting back after what was it? Hamas invaded and murdered 1,400 Israelis in one day. Democrats thought that that's who you should take and speak out against is Israel for defending themselves. See what I'm saying? This is how evil they are. The Democrats allow a few people like that idiot AOC and Ilhan Iman, or whatever her name is. There's a few of them in there that are just absolute stupid. Hate America, hate Israel, stupid people. But they let them go out front and be the waves and stuff like that. But then after it's all done, they go ahead and they vote with those idiots to, try to destroy Israel, try to destroy America. That's just who they are. And they don't mind working together for it, like I've said before. So how do we stop this? How do we stop such evil people in an evil party from accomplishing what they are trying to do. God has helped us already. God did his bit. God saved Donald Trump from an assassin's bullet. God saved him, and now he's going to stand back and say, I saved him. What are you going to do to help him? So my question is, what are you going to do to help him? What are you going to do to get out there and say, we are not going to put up with Democrats, and especially you rhinos, from blocking this agenda that we voted for? 77 million of us wanted Donald Trump in there to drain the swamp, fire everybody in the government he could, close down every department that he could, and put everybody on their heels. And we want it done in 100 days. We're not waiting 4 years. This is going to be done in 100 days. Democrats should be a little nervous because their power base, the administrative state, is going to be demolished. I would love to see between 50 and 75% of the federal government be dismantled and shut down. And the only thing really remaining is a couple branches of the government and the military. We can do this. Take away the power from the Democrats by getting rid of so much of what they rely on to keep their power. Shun, mock, make fun of the Democrats. They have nothing to offer this country. And people who were once enslaved, the descendants of one-time slaves who are Democrats, are you out of your freaking minds? I'm sure your ancestors would be proud of you for being in the party that kept them enslaved. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Anyways, fight, fight, fight. Do not tolerate the Democrat Party. Stop them at every ballot, every vote, every chance we have. Well, that's this episode. Glad to have you with me, and hope to have you listening to the next one. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit about economics in my next one. I just wrote something down about that, and I wanted to talk to you about it and teach some people a little bit about it. So anyhow, until then, Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.